What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world, wherever you may be, my name is Logan, your tour guide, and this is Decode Your Reality, and today we're going to be breaking down and decoding some Earth. This one is titled Masonic Flat Earth. Masonic Flat Earth Decoded. You have the square and compass there. The sun, the boss. Is the Earth flat? The simple answer is no. I'm going to show you my final answer for what the shape of the Earth is, what it is, as we move through this presentation. And, here's kind of all the options, all the popular options that people swear up and down it is, using formulas and mathematical equations. I get all that. I'm not here to say that you are wrong with whatever you believe of what you think the Earth is, what shape it is, etc., etc. I'm going to show you some things you probably have never seen before. As a matter of fact, I know you've never seen them before, and this is just new information that I was given, and I'm just the tour guide, so whatever you resonate with, great. Whatever you do not resonate with, that's okay too. So it really, for me, started with, and I have a decode coming out on the sun again, Superstar. I'm probably going to do Superstar Part 4. But it was the measurement of the sun as it moves through the seasons. It was actually the study of the equinoxes and the solstices. The sun, when it's overhead of the equator, which is the line that separates the Cancer and Capricorn tropics, it is called a equinox, and this is where the sun is right over the Earth's equator. I've drawn a red line. It's not exact because obviously this is going right through Mexico, and it should be going the other way, but I just drew it really quickly. I wasn't thinking of making it exact. But the more important information here, ladies and gentlemen, the important information for this is that the solar equinox in the springtime is on March 20th or 21st, and then in the fall, it is around September 22nd or 23rd, give or take. These are big deal numbers, and I'm going to be talking about that. That's when the sun gives its light equally to both hemispheres on these days. When it's on the equator, it's going to zigzag, because that's what the sun does, through the model of the Earth, like a pendulum. It is the regulator. It's the serpent, the dragon, the sine wave, etc. So we're going to talk all about that. And it is the Son of God. I have this decode coming out. Another inspiration for this presentation on Masonic Flat Earth. And you can spell some of these words out with the periodic table. Very, very fascinating. But this is coming out, so stay tuned for that. So this was another rendition that I came up with, and this is when it really hit me that Earth, in my opinion, my final answer at this stage of the game, Earth is an eyeball. This makes more sense than anything else. Despite the arguing, bickering, debating, division, how much division this topic, that's why I don't want to get involved with it. I really don't care the shape of the Earth, honestly, but this wanted me to show exactly what I found and researched, discovered, etc. So this is really where I'm going to start with this, right? And again, I'm going to leave it to you to figure out what you think the shape of the earth is. I'm not here to say you're wrong. I just want to be very clear on that. These are my opinions and truths. I am not going to debate any of you that want to put your comments below and you want to tell me it's not, I'm wrong and it's this and that. That's fine. Okay? I'm here to present you information. You do whatever you want with it. But see, I'm a guy who's a doubting Thomas. On top of that, I'm a guy who needs to see, feel, touch, smell exactly all these senses we can get involved to make my final decision on what it is that I think and how it works. And I've studied so many weather balloons going up to the stratosphere, countless videos, and they all are pretty much the same in their delivery. Okay? This is JW Astronomy. You can see there's the sun. There's nothing above. And you obviously have a little bit of curvature there. And of course, people say, oh, there it is, the globe model. Or, oh, it's flat. This is a fisheye lens. All those have their say in this. So again, I'm not going to say you're wrong. But it's not exactly flat. It's going to be, and it's going to have, it's more convex, like the shape of an eye. And I'm going to show you that through the illustrations of the eyeball. But when you go and you look at this video here, and you play it and you watch it, you can see there's no land above, so it really doesn't fit in the concave model, right? It doesn't, going all the way around and having land up here, it's kind of all black and dark. There's the moon right there. But this doesn't really fit the model of the concave. Okay, but you can clearly see this goes all the way around in a 360-degree circle. There is nothing above that sun. Nothing. Okay, this is the boss. And then you have the moon shining in the background as well right there. I would believe that's the moon. Okay, but going all the way around there, right? And so this model, to me, represents the eye of God. Earth. And then you have the contract with the sun. The sun has a contract with the earth. The earth being the black sun, of course. And is there a ball inside the earth? Maybe. I've never seen it, though. So I'm just going to say, to alleviate the burden of trying to figure that out, Earth doesn't give off any of its own light. So Earth is the black sun. Whether or not there's a ball inside the earth, well, there's no way to prove that. Unless somebody goes on a venture and takes back videos and photographs and shows that, I'm a doubter in that. But Earth is definitely dark. It doesn't give off any of its own light. So essentially, Earth is the black sun. It is the black sun. Okay, so I just wanted to start that off so we can get a little bit of a foundation as we move through this presentation. And I'm going to use the flat Earth model here. And again, I don't think it's flat like a pancake, like a pizza pie. There is curvature to this. Okay, there is curvature to this, just like there is to an eye. But this is the sun and the pattern that it makes. This is important now. I know this is on the flat earth, the topic, Masonic flat earth, round, concave, hollow, etc. But the sun is going to deliver a lot of truth in this and how it moves across the earth, around the earth, etc., etc. And it moves in a zigzag shape. I've shown this in my Superstar Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. This diagram right here was one of the greatest things I've ever found. It was somebody taking a photograph of the sun rising at the same day of every month. And you got to go, it's 12 months and you got to add on December twice to form an exact boomerang shape. And then you make it, this is 2 times, and you can see that zigzag. There's the letter S, there's the W, there's the McDonald's arch, there's an M in there. Okay? There's a lot of shapes with this here. And it has a lot of importance in this presentation. So here's the globe model. Right? If you want to bring in this model and you want to use this and you think this is the way it works, it will work on this. Whether the sun goes around this or whether you think it goes around as an egg or a ball is going to be completely up to you. Again, I'm not here to debate you on that. I will not do it. Your truth is the only truth that matters. I don't have to live in your shoes. But I'm going to use this as the model because I think, honestly, this is really the closest to the truth model, okay, as it stands right now. And, of course, the center is going to be where, if there is a hole and there's a black sun and there's a big black ball in there, it would be inside there. But, again, Earth, I would say, is just to summarize it, is the black sun. So I'm going to place the equator over this map. And this is going to represent the spring equinox, okay, where the sun's trajectory is around the equator, and the opposite, which is the fall, okay? The opposite, which is the fall. Now, there has to be 4 points because it's always in four blood types, north, south, east, and west. There's a lot of the box, the square, cubic, squaring the circle. The 4 points are very important. That's why you have 4 seasons. So we have spring and we have fall, and the sun's going to be right on the equator for both of these as it goes around and around. Okay? But then we got to bring in the solstices. These are the equinoxes. Okay? Now we're going to add in the solstices. Now I'm using the summer model for the Tropic of Capricorn. Those of you that live below in the southern hemisphere, you know, Chile and Argentina and Australia and New Zealand, those of you that live in this area, this would be your summer solstice. The sun is now on this trajectory right here, going around and around. And of course, the northern hemisphere is its winter time, right? Because the sun is the farthest away from this landmass, these continents. And then the opposite would be when the sun moves from this trajectory into the winter solstice line for the Tropic of Capricorn. And this would be the summertime for those of you that live in the North Americas, Great Britain, European countries, Russia, etc., etc. Okay, so these are going to be the opposites. And now we're going to bring all 4 together. The 4 points, right? The 4 points, the opposite of one another. They're all equally opposite of one another. Okay, the 4 seasons, and we would have spring, summer, fall, winter. And then we go back to spring, and we go back to summer, then we go back to fall, then we go back to winter. Working on this flat Earth map here, more convex than anything. So I'm going to leave the equator here, and now we're going to connect the dots, and I'm going to show you some magic and where the Masonic aspect comes into play. So we start here in the springtime, and we draw to the summertime. And the summer obviously leads to the fall, and the fall leads to the winter, and the winter has to go back to the spring. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you're now beginning to see a shape that you probably have seen before. Many of you probably have your jaws on the floor. I did, because yes, there is the square and compass. Just like that. And to me, there is no denying this. I'm not fudging anything. I'm not trying to fit anything. I'm not trying to make it work. This is using the patterns of nature. The patterns of nature. And if you're like, oh, it's the globe, it's round, well, then you would just take this top and put it in a different trajectory, and it would work the same way. That's why the globe model, the formulas work the same way as the flat earth model. They all have their merit in this, but it's more convex than anything else. But this is absolutely, in my opinion, undeniable. And if you're not going to want to accept this, then you're just kind of like, well, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. I think this is exactly 1 + 1 = 2 with those trajectories. Now, the interesting part continues beyond the square and compass. So now Freemasonry isn't evil unless you say it is. And I'm not a Mason. I don't belong to an organization. But obviously they know a thing or two about a thing or two. And then it comes into this right here, folks. Now we bring into the flat earth map, the convex. I think it's more convex than anything. We bring in alchemy and phosphorus. And now we bring in the entity called Lucifer. Because most of you know phosphorus is tied to the morning star, which I am going to confidently tell you is not Venus. I know that there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's Venus. Well, are you regurgitating that? Or, now you have a different look. Because you see, right on the Royal Society of Chemistry, I'm not saying they're the authoritative, but you can clearly see it's the square and compass. This is the ball and stick model for the element white phosphorus. Okay? White phosphorus. And that fits right over this model, folks. And what is white phosphorus? It's tied to the light bringer. it's tied straight up to Lucifer. So now you have a direct connection to white phosphorus, Lucifer, the square and compass, and the sun. And I'm going to bring Jesus into this as well. Can't leave that out. That's an important integral part. And so it looks like this through religion. Oh yeah, so if you're a Christian, well, you're worshiping the sun. The Bible is the worship of the Son of God. You can, if you want to go ahead and just make yourself feel good about saying it's Jesus, that's totally fine. Because it's clear now that Lucifer and Jesus are kind of one and the same. Okay? Working together in unison. May have different roles, maybe good cop, bad cop, but nonetheless, you can clearly see there's the 31. This is going to be isotope 31, its most dominant. Okay? So this is very crystal clear now, and it is the devil. See, that this is I have a decode on the sun devil. And in that video, I haven't watched it in a while, but I showed the connections to Lucifer, being the sun devil. You know, the sun, I love the sun. I was born on a Sunday. I love it. It's the giver of life, but it'll cook you. So it'll take life from you. But you can see the 33, and now you have that connection to, and this is loose, because this is numerology, the spoken word. Numerology, the spoken word. You can call it gematria if you want to, but, you know, there's a lot of words that will equal 33. The G, the capital letter G is that 33 in the Francis Bacon. Okay, so this is the sun, folks. The sun as it rotates around. So I don't think there's any room for debate at this point anymore. And again, I don't think it's flat completely. I think it's convex. It does have a curve, and I'm going to show you the illustration of that. And there it is, because you see the devil is the 19 in Chaldean. Chaldean, the oldest known numerology cipher in the world, it goes off the numbers 1 through 8. Why? Because 19 is the 8th prime number. And 8 is the sine wave, the infinity symbol. I'm going to show that to you. It's tied to the sun. And there's the sun card in the tarot. And on top of that, when you do the numerology of the word master, that's going to be the number 19. When you do the numerology of the word battery, that's going to give you the number 19. Okay? So the sun is a battery. Okay? A nuclear battery, if you will. Hydrogen, helium. But it is the devil. Okay? That's why, like, if you bring theology, 1 Peter 5 verses 8, it says, be on the watch. The devil is a roaring lion. The only lion in astrology is Leo. And that's the 5th house of astrology, 5. And that's what the sun makes, is a pattern of 5. I'm going to show that to you. Okay? So here's the numerology of white phosphorus. That's the ball and stick model of this, which is exactly the shape that this thing makes right here through the 4 seasons. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that the full gematria for the word Halil or Lucifer, Isaiah 14 verses 12, is the number 75. This is going to reduce down all the way to the number 3, and the number 3 is going to make that letter M. It's going to give you that sign winder. It's going to should give you the letter W. The McDonald's arch is the letter M and the number 3. It's going to reduce down. 7 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3. Very, very interesting stuff. So here's the numerology for the word phosphorus, of where it originally came from, all the way back to the Greek language. This is the Greek archaics. Going to give you isopsophy if you want to go to higher numbers, but this is the reduction down to the single digits, and it's going to be the number 37. And this is very telling, because the 37, when you bring it back to the periodic table, you're going to get it linking to this element called rubidium. And these are clues, folks. It doesn't have to be direct, like, oh, what is rubidium? Like rubidium, and it's tied to the color red, but you can see the icon for the clue. It's the all-seeing eye, folks, which is why eye in the sky is exactly a match to phosphorus. Phosphorus being the white. What is the sun? White. Yellow, white, whatever. It turns orange when it goes down, when it moves away. The refraction of light. Going through the atmosphere, changing colors. These are humdingers here. The eye in the sky. Okay, and then we bring in the cards of illumination to get an extension. And now we have the Jack of Diamonds, card 37. And now you have the Jesus, the J standing for Jesus, the Jack. And this Jack of Diamonds is going to convert in the tarot to the 76th card in the deck, which is tied to Osmium, the Wizard of Oz. Okay, the Wizard of Oz. So this 37 being tied to phosphorus. And you can see here, I've now made the mirror of this ball and stick model, this square and compass. I've made a mirror of it to show you exactly what it would look like in the mirror. And now you get the as above, so below, and now you get the diamond here. Okay, you get the diamond. You not only get the diamond here, but you get the diamond here. And you get your tetrahedrons, your octahedrons. The Vesica Pisces is going to fit in here as well. Absolutely, the Vesica Pisces will fit in here as well. Okay, make no mistake about that. Here are the equators, or the equator, and then the trajectory for the sun as it moves through the solstices, equinoxes, etc., etc. This is what it looks like. Okay, through phosphorus. So we do have Lucy in the sky with diamond. Lucy being 13. If we just use this right here, we go to Lucy. Lucy being 13, the same as the word soul. Okay, one of the other words for the sun. Of course, that's the King of Hearts card, the King of the Sun. Okay, so we also now bring in another card of illumination here to tie to the number 15 for phosphorus. It's the Two of Clubs. This is card 15. And the number 2, when you go move it down into the periodic table, even though this is card 15, it has a 2 on it, so it is connected to the element helium, which is Helios. That's where the name comes from. The measurement of the sun was through helium, not hydrogen. Helium, and then why it's 2? Because you have the yin yang, you have the sine and cosine wave, you have the Michael and the dragon, you have the Jesus Lucifer energy, and Helios in numerology is 24, just like the word Jesus. Okay, just like the word Jesus, which is gold. I have this in my Jesus Decoded. In the original Greek, where it came from, 24 hours in a day. Right? 2, 4. Helios. When you go to the numerology of it, it's 24. Just like Jesus. Jesus. Just like it, folks. There's no mistaking it. Jesus is the sun. Lucifer is tied to the sun with Jesus. 24 in the golden ratio occupies digits 79 and 80. That is gold and Mercury, the messenger. Mercury being the caduceus, being the deoxyribonucleic acid. This is the ribonucleic acid. I'm going to be showing that in my upcoming presentation on the sun. But here's the card in the tarot to give us the picture. From phosphorus to the card of illumination, the 2 means duality. And now you have the 2 of wands. You can clearly see this individual is holding on to this wand right here. I believe this is the sun, this is the moon. Well, this individual is holding on to the wand of the sun. You could say this is Boaz and Yachin. Yes. Holding the world in the palm of his hands. This card, when you get it in a reading, it means that you're about to enter into a new chapter of your life. Strategizing with a new chapter of your life. This is the card of the futurist. You know who has this as their birth card? Elon Musk. Philip K. Dick had this for his birth card, being born in the month of December. 2 of clubs. This is the card of the futurist. Whether you like these people or not, this is what they were given for their birthdays. This is the card of the futurist, because you see, when light comes down to play the game, it now has to incarnate into matter. Like Tool says, that we are the sun becoming in their great song Pneuma, which means spirit. And now you're playing the game of life. And now you're on the board. And now you're an avatar. Okay? That's how all this stuff looks, folks. That's why Jesus came down and incarnated as a dude. Whether or not the story is real, can't prove it, can't disprove it. It's a story. It's in the fabric of our reality. So the idea makes it real. It ends the debate and division. So many people believe in it, it makes it true. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like over the Earth, the round Earth, whatever. Again, I think it's more convex and more on the flat convex side, but just because we're used to this map, I want to show you what it looks like as the sine wave, the sin wave moves across the Earth, and it moves through the patterns of the sun. So you have spring, moves up to summer, moves down to fall, moves down to winter. Now this is going to move forward, obviously, and it's going to have the yin-yang here as well. The yin-yang, this is so beautiful. Fits in here, and this wheel will move. These points will move here, they'll move here, they'll just move. And it causes night and day as this wheel moves forwards. It's so beautiful. It's so magical. And to me, it's kind of undeniable, right? And so for the sun over the Earth forms this number 8 through the sine and cosine wave. And this forms your deoxyribonucleic acid. The ribonucleic acid is going to be the sun, which is the messenger, the programmer of society. And then you have the deoxyribonucleic, which is our DNA, which is where you get your demon from. And now you have the infinity symbol. And it's 26, which is the same as the word source. 26. You're stuck in this. Yod-Heh-Vah is 26. The occult is 26. That's where all this information, it's stuck inside the sine wave, which is what the sun makes. And the moon's in there as well. I didn't even bring the moon in there, but the moon's in there as well. And these all reduce down to the number 8. And here's the magic. 19 is the 8th prime number. This is undeniable now. 19 being the sun card. It goes back to the sun again. Okay, the 8th prime number. This is the infinity symbol is the number 8. Okay? And that's what we're stuck in. You're in it. Earth is a video game. It is a movie. It is a reality show. It is the Truman Show. Yes. You're in it. Okay? And the sun is as beautiful as it is, the life giver, it's also the devil. And so these are the 5 points as it moves, in my opinion, around the Earth over the top. You have springtime, goes up to summertime. Summertime has to go down to fall. It ends here in fall, right along the equator. And then from fall to winter, now you're the farthest away. And then winter has to move back to spring. And now you have 5 points. 4 seasons, but 5 points to bring it all the way back. And this is why that's why you have 5 fingers, 5 toes. It's fashioned after the sun. Why you have 5 senses. Why the number 5 equals the number 20, which equals duality and birthday and all that kind of stuff. And why the 5th house of astrology is Leo the lion. Because it's ruled by the sun, ladies and gentlemen. And you're stuck in the infinity symbol, the sine wave. Okay? You're stuck in it. So, moving along. Are we having fun yet? I learned so much myself doing this decode. And so I believe this is the real model of the Earth. Earth is an eye. It's God's eye. Okay? It makes way more sense, especially when you look at this, than any other model. Okay? It looks like this. All right? And now I bring in the illustration, the anatomy of the human eye. And we make sense of this. And this is why, this is like light bulb moment, it was for me. The cornea is the firmament, the protective barrier over the eye. And then you see the iris, which is where you're going to have your 12 apostles, where you're going to have the continents and all the water. And then, of course, the Christ sits in the middle of the pupil. Okay? And the light has to go in here. And when it goes in here, you get the hollow earth, because then it goes into the optic nerve and down into the eye itself. Even though the eye is not hollow, but you do have that formula that does work here, I think. But really, this is why I feel Earth is convex. It can be, like if you're here, anywhere you stand, it can be flat, but it will end up having a curvature to it, and it will, now you get in, and here's the globe model right here. The globe model, because the Earth being kind of that spherical shape. The cosmic egg is here as well, for sure, but you could see the iris, it bends. It has a bend to it. Okay? It has a bend to it. And of course, the ice wall is going to be the sclera, which is the white. This is the ice wall. This is how beautiful it is, how it correlates to our Earth. And is this just God looking out into whatever it's looking out at, having its own experience? Imagine that we're inside this thing, or you're on here. and you're making up the eye of God here. And I really think this is the closest model to how it works. This is kind of my final answer at this point. And so I'm going to measure. So I'm measuring the earth and all the numbers. There's so many different numbers, right? The formulas. So I decided, well, because it's the eye, and I'm saying it's God's eye, let's go to the numbers and let's do the breakdown of the cornea, right? The cornea being the firmament. Couldn't get really a measurement of the iris. It does have a convex curvature to it, but here's the average corneal curvature of a human eye, and it's going to be in millimeters, and then they're going to move it into diopters, which is ophthalmology. They convert it into the measurement of the eye, diopter. So I'm going to measure those two numbers. Notice the 77s here. A lot of sevens. 43 is going to add up to the number 7. But if you bring this into the golden ratio, as I have done so many times with numbers, because the golden ratio is going to be tied to the spiral, it's going to be tied to the number 6, the number 9, the measurement of nature, 43, which is the average diopter size of the cornea curvature of a human eye. 43 occupies digit, this is including the 1 point, digit 28 and 29. 28 is tied to Lucifer. Lucifer is 28. Architect is 28. 28 is the second perfect number in numerology. We're talking about duality and the number 2. 29 is tied to Jesus. It's tied to the 3 of Pentacles, which is card 67. That's going to be tied to the number 19. A lot of big humdingers here. But it's when you add them up. 28 and 29, 57. And just like that, folks, we have the average corner curvature of an eye, 43.77, bringing it into the golden ratio, and then moving it into numerology. And this is why, one of the reasons why. I mean, did the maker, I've broken down the Truman Show, one of my most watched decodes. Did the makers of the Truman Show know this information? Or is it just this is how precise the source code is that wrote our reality and continues to write it? That's why they got this model here. This is an eye, folks. I think it's pretty crystal clear. I don't think it's flat. It's convex for sure. Just fashioned off of after this. Right there. And this is why you're going to have measurement. You're going to have curvature measurements, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But these are humdingers here. This is a very big deal here with the image there with Christoph sitting on the moon, right? And I thought this was fun here, bringing the medicine cards. I don't really use these as much as I used to, but of course, digit 28 is going to be tied to the armadillo. And I mean, look at the shape of the body, the cornea. 29 is the badger, but the armadillo. And the armadillo has this hard shell. That's the firmament. To me, this is the stand-up comedy of the GOD. And these people didn't know all this kind of stuff. These were Jamie Sams and a couple other people that created these cards. They didn't know this. But of course, as fate would have it, there's the connecting point. Is the cornea, the firmament, which I think is going to be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. That's why the truth is there. The protective barrier. It's the armadillo through that lens. And then we have the 43 for the approximate diopter measurement of the corneal curvature. And now you have the spider and the web, right? The web can be obviously tied to the shell. Okay, 43 being the 14th prime number, 14 being tied to the word God. Remember, 43. God is 14. 43 is the 14th prime number, just like the word time. That's going to be 14, just like this is going to be 14. All 14s, which is going to reduce down to the number 5. There's 5 of these patterns. 5 is the house of Leo, the lion. Beyond the watch out. Your adversary walks about like a roaring lion. That's Leo, folks. Okay? And that's Leo, which works for the pride. That's the ego. So easy to see. So it gets really hot and heavy now. With this, we're getting to the tail end of this. And now we get into the element called iridium. Why iridium? Well, because you see, 43 is tied to the number 191. Remember, this is the approximation of the curvature of the cornea for the average human being, 43.77 diopters. 43, it's the 14th prime number, but the 191 is the 43rd prime number, and we go right to this element right here. I think this is very clear. Is now we have iridium. Iridium comes from the Greek goddess called Iris, and what do you think the cornea protects? The iris. It's just so blatant. It's so beautiful. And the iris is the goddess of the rainbow. And what shape does a rainbow make? Right here. It mimics the cornea. And now you have the curvature. This is why I say, oh, the rainbow has the curvature. Yep, it's because it's there. It protects the iris, which is more convex. There's curve there. Definitely curve there, but it's more convex in my opinion. And this is a very big humdinger. And when you extend upon this, because 43 is going to reduce down to the number 7. Here's the number 7 in the millimeter curvature, corneal curvature measurement in millimeters 7. So now we get into the element nitrogen. Remember, nitrogen is about 79% of the air that we breathe, along with oxygen. So it is the major contributor to the air we breathe. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you not only have pi here, a permutation of it. And what do you think Earth is? Pi. It's the perfect circle. Even though it's not perfectly flat, it's a circle. And then you have the numbers of Lucifer. Because according to Manly P. Hall, 7, 4, 1 are the numbers of Lucifer. And there they are. Undeniable, folks. See, Jesus, Lucifer fit in here perfectly. Perfectly. Okay? Even this example through music in the mainstream blew my mind when I found it. The five band members. Okay? The 5 band members. Henley, Fry, Felder, Meisner, and Walsh. I have these names screwed up. Henley should be over here. But anyway, their birthdays. Henley, 22nd, 6, 21, 8, and 20. You add them up, you're going to get 70 freaking 7. And this was telling you, Hotel California, you can check out anytime you like, death, but you can never leave. That's what they said. I'm not saying it's true. But you could see the comedy in this. And now you know, folks. The eye. It's the eye of God. That's what this whole thing, Hotel California, is the eye of God. It's your body. And you become a microcosm through your eyes. You become a student of life through your eyes. Your life's already predestined. I've already shown that so many times. You already have a job, responsibilities to do in this reality. But this is very, very, it's kind of funny if you ask me, very, very crystal clear here. Okay? And when you do the numerology of iridium, through the word that it came from, the Greek goddess Iris, through the original Greek language of where it came from, it ends landing on that number 59. This is going to reduce down to the number 5. Again, spring, summer, fall, winter, back to spring. 5 patterns, 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 senses. The game of life equals 59. Contract with God equals 59. The contract you have with God is through your eyes, through your human vessel, through your avatar, and you're being used as an instrument. That's my final answer. I've been showing this over and over. And here it is through the theology and the Roman Catholic Church. And again, ladies and gentlemen, why the game needs players on this earth, on God's eye. Why there's 59 rosary beads in the largest religion in the world, Christianity, Catholicism, whatever you want to slice or dice it, it's all the worshiping of the sun. Now you know, it's the worshiping of the sun. Okay? There's 59 beads. So I had done this through my contract with God. It's only on Patreon. 59's Praseodymium. There is the icon chosen for the Royal Society of Chemistry. This is the prison bars, Gemini. Gemini being the number 19, just like the word master. Okay, tied to the sun. Okay, Gemini. This is the doppelganger. This is you and the doppelganger. Okay, Castor and Pollux, the yin yang. You and your doppelganger. And you could spell this out, prison right here, with these elements on the periodic table. And there are so many big clues here with this. And that's what the eyeball is. It's a prison. And we know for sure you'll get out when you die. But we don't know what happens after that. Is there really a surefire way to never come back? That's the big question. And to kind of end this, ladies and gentlemen, you see the connection. Now you know when somebody makes this symbol, it doesn't mean evil unless you think so. This, and I have a decode coming out on the number 14. This is the OK symbol. You have the 6, 6 there. Yes, you have the upside down. You have the 999. You have the 110, which is going to link to the number 6, which is what the sun is tied to. But it's tied to the eye. This is the eye of providence. You notice that providence is 46. Praseodymium, which is the first letter, 2 letters that start off the word prison, is 46. So the eye of providence is the all-seeing eye that we sit on. Okay? That's what it is, the all-seeing eye of providence. So if you see this or the triangle, it doesn't mean evil, folks. It means that you're stuck inside time. You're in the sun's pattern. Okay? And you're on the convex, or I would say it's even more convex. And when you take 59 of the protons and you add the numerology of it, 59 and 46, you're going to get 105. And now you get into the ending of this presentation, the great architect of the universe, this is what the Masons call God, which now you can see is tied to the sun. Okay? Tied to the human eyeball. And, when you bring this into the Astro 360, now if you're new to this is just you taking a 360-degree compass, you're overlaying it on top of an astrological chart in its defaulted position. 0 over here at the start of the rising sign position in 15 degrees Aries. And you could see that the 105 is going to start off the sign of Leo. And there's a lot of humdingers in here. These numbers, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 130. There's a lot of big numbers that are tied to a lot of big things that'll be coming out in my upcoming Eye of Providence, etc., Decoded. Okay? But when this sun is in Leo and there's the sickle, okay, meaning death, you have Regulus there, the main star in the constellation Leo, Leonis. It's the regulator, Regulus, tied to the sun, which is also tied to Jupiter. Can't leave that out. But these are very, very big deals. Even universe is 33, which is a big deal because that's what this is. So it really comes down to this. So I've shown this in my Illumination Decoded. In other ones I've shown that your eyeball is the zodiac wheel. And you have 2 eyes, so the first eye is going to be your birth chart, and then the other eye is going to be the ongoing astrological chart of every given moment of any day. That makes up both of your eyes, constantly moving. One is permanently fixed, your birthday, and then you have the one that's always moving, the other eye. And this is really where it's at with the map of the Earth. This is my final answer on Earth at this point. Is it subject to change? I doubt it ever will, because I don't think I've ever gotten so tightly woven with this, so detailed with this. And how it really, I feel, mimics this. Okay? It mimics this. And the sun, of course, being inside that cornea, which is the firmament. And here's the ice wall. Okay? It just makes so much more sense. And you can see that the pupil and iris, the pupil being in the center, it's the sun's there. In an astrological map, the sun is typically shown as an illustration in the middle because this is the Christ, this is the great beast above. I've shown this, go watch my beast Decoded. I showed the 12 apostles with the Christ forms the great beast above, and then we form the beast below as mankind, living through the astrological symbols. 33, the pupil and the iris, which just so happens to match the word universe. The universe is inside your eyeball. It's inside the eye of God. God's using you as an instrument to fill your role and your screenplay. Okay, with this pupil and iris here. And you notice that it's 2, 6, and 7. This is a big deal because in Revelation 3 verses 16, it clearly says this right here, which I have been showing for a very long time now. That if you are lukewarm, you will be spit out of the game. You will be spit out of the prison. You will be spit out of the game of life. It's just, how do you get to be lukewarm? See, hot or cold is yin yang. Hot or cold is, good cop, bad cop. When you know they're 2 sides of the same coin, you could become lukewarm. Not taking sides, being an observer. And maybe, just maybe, 2, 6, 7, maybe, just maybe, exiting out of this prison planet. Okay? Exiting out of there. So, to be continued, because I'm going to have another Decode coming out with some other stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, would love to hear what you saw. Just again, keep your comments cordial. I'm not here to debate what you want to believe. I'm not. So if you want to post something in your comments, just don't be an asshole about it. Be cool. Right? You don't have to agree with what I'm showing here. But to me, my final answer at this point, we live in the eye of God. The eye is earth. Earth is convex. It is not flat. Completely, it is convex. There will be a curvature like the iris, the curvature going down here, and then the curvature going in towards the pupil, in towards Mount Meru, which may just be Asgard, as we get to Asgard. All right. And this is kind of my final answer on this at this point. So that's all I got for today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Logan. Decode your reality. Until next time, we will see you later.